And now, Brandon Six Boy Schaub.
Yes, sir. Early Monday morning, November 17th. It is 8:30 a.m. on this glorious Austin morning. How we doing, fam? How was the weekend? Good, great, grand. Your boy was in Dallas, little family road trip. Kiddo had a travel ball football tournament up there. Great time, dude. Just a great environment. Tiger balled out. First time playing with this team. Yeah, man, the boys did well. They finished third. We lost to the same team twice. We won 3 out of 5 games. And we lost to this number 1 seed twice because we lost to them in the first game, and then in the playoffs, or like the seeding round for the championship, we lost to them in the semis. So those had some older kids. We were playing up. Had some older kids. They had a little beast, man. There's not much you can do. This kid was 11, hit puberty. That's a problem at this age. If they hit puberty, you're going to have some problems. If they have armpit hair, you're losing the game. That's just how it goes. But glad to be back, man. Shout out to Dallas. Love Dallas. Absolutely love Dallas. But let's get into this juicy-ass Real Housewives of the UFC 322, all the drama going on. I'm going to start the pod with a little side note, little apology to our boy Steve Will Do It. Last week, we brought up stuff surrounding UFC and gambling. His name was brought up in several articles, and Chin brought up the articles. I read the articles. I react to them, and we probably should have looked into it more. Either way, it's when it comes to the gambling side of things, and it comes to that world, when it comes to the gambling world, like the Nelk boys, Steve, I'm too old. I don't know exactly what they do. I know they're crushing it, and I root for those boys, but it's just not my world. So, of course, the internet, YouTube, is going to put these pieces together, right? It's just what the world does, what culture does to make things look worse than they are. And I think that's why, Steve Will Do It in his association with the fighter that's being accused of all this stuff. People in the internet have made these connections. I don't know the truth. From what I know about Steve, he's a very humble, does a ton of stuff for people, wholehearted guy, good dude, crushing it. So the best thing for me would have been is I have Steve's number. I should have DM'd Steve or text him or just called him on air. That would have been smart. And be like, dude, how about what's going on here? Like, it's all over. Again, if it hits my radar, it's all over the MMA genre. So that's what I cover. I don't cover any of that other bullshit. So that's why it got put on my radar. That's the only reason. But listen, no one knows more so than me that the internet's completely full of shit. Most of the time, they're going for clickbait and stuff like that. I should have done a better job and not even mentioned that stuff. Even though it is a narrative in our fight world, I don't know that world, dude. And I think maybe his fans or my haters sent it to him, or he became privy to it. And, I've said stuff about the Nelk boys before, but this is where you have it twisted. And this is what the internet wants. This is what social media wants. They like drama. They like fighting. When I comment on the Nelk boys, who are absolutely crushing it, when I comment on the Nelk boys, or Steve Will Do It, when I comment on the Nelk boys interviewing, who'd they interview? What big fighter did it? Was it Dana White? What they interviewed a big fighter? Oh, Ilia Topuria, stuff like that. Even when they entered whoever it is in the UFC space. When I say, man, I wish they would let a Luke Thomas, a Ariel Helwani have this access, or a Pete Carroll, or a Chuck Mendenhall, or some of the actual journalists from our space. That's not saying I'm alluding to the Nelk boys don't deserve this interview, shouldn't have this interview. It has none of that. What I'm saying is, man, the Nelk boys are going to do their thing. And Steve will do it's going to do his thing. And that's great for the sport, and it gets so many eyeballs and brings a younger generation. There's a reason they're there. They have a completely fan base than probably some of the older OGs in the space. You need that. My thing is you can have both. So I'm not saying or criticizing the Nelk boys for interviewing Ilya Topuria or Dana White, any of that shit. Get your bag, boys. I'm cheering for you. What I'm saying is I'm criticizing the establishment, saying, man, I wish they would do the same access to the actual journalists in the sport to get some tough answers to questions that a lot of us have in the space. That's all I'm saying. But the internet, oh, Brendan hates the Nelk boys. Brendan criticized Steve will do it. Nope. You guys are way off. You're way off. There's enough out there for everybody to eat, dude. I've never been that guy. If any of my actual fans follow me for how many years, I'm never the guy that throws hate people's way. It's not what I do. I don't engage in it. When it comes to Steve will do it, I admire what he's done. I admire what he's doing. I'm not criticizing any facet. When it comes to this whole gambling thing, from what I know of Steve will do it, he would never participate in any bullshit like this or compromise him. This is the other thing. And it goes with Dana White too. There's nothing wrong with these guys gambling and being associated with the UFC. There's nothing wrong with it. There's going to be foul play, not on their part. And I think because there has been foul play at a lower level, when it comes to Dana and that whole group, you got to realize how much fucking money these boys are making. They're making money it's unheard of. So if you think a guy like Steve will do it, Dana White, insert any of these big boys in the space, if you think they're going to risk their entire business on an undercard fighter, whether it's buying them a house, any of the shit, you don't know these gentlemen. They didn't get to where they're at and accumulate the wealth that they've accumulated by doing bullshit like that. There's no way. So just off the bat, when I see, oh, Steve did this or Dana did, insert this, and buddy, that's a fun narrative and we'll get clicks online. But those gentlemen didn't get to where they're at in life by doing dumb shit like that. So I can almost guarantee you there will be no record, there will be no trace amounts leading back to any of that foul play, especially with Steve will do it or Dana White. None of that bullshit. Again, it's fun for the internet. I get how the internet works. I definitely should have done a better job knowing Steve and knowing what he does for people and stuff like that. But also, if you're coming to me and expecting to get real journalism takes, man, I ain't the one. I'm just not the one. I get on here, I talk a lot of shenanigans, I have a good time, I know the sport pretty fucking well. That's it, man. You know, that's it.
And real quick, just take a little bit off your plate. Even me, I'm a technical producer. I'm not a journalist. I don't like. I collect articles throughout the whole week. You know,
you collect what's trending, what's current, popular, what's relevant. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's dying off. Like I told you guys, it would die off. But when it comes to the gambling UFC thing, and they're trying to look for more, and everyone's trying to make it a bigger deal, and that's what they do. They squeeze the views out of it.
During that time, it was happening.
It was everywhere.
It was popping everywhere. And I saw that article and the post about Isaac Dolgarian saying, thank you to Steve will do it for buying him a house. I don't know if that's. It seems like it's real, so I just brought that up when you were in discussion about the whole, the gambling thing, because it was just interesting, to discuss.
But here's the thing. Even, I'm not saying he did. Let's say some of these articles, whoever the fuck's posting that he bought him a house, that doesn't mean that there's illegal behavior going on. Steve has bought a lot of people houses.
And that's dope.
Steve's bought a lot of people cars. He bought Dana White a car. So do we think because he bought Dana a car, him and Dana are in cahoots together and doing this illegal gambling? No. So if you go back over Steve's career and seeing how many gifts, cars, houses, you're going to realize this is a pretty typical thing what he does. And this Dolgarian's a struggling fighter. It doesn't surprise me that he might have bought him a house that has nothing to do with Dolgarian down the road getting in trouble for illegal gambling. It just so happens that in 2024, that's when this shit happened. It's a coincidence. That's all there is. Knowing Steve will do it, you don't realize how much fucking money this kid is making. It wouldn't make any sense. It's fun for clicks and all that. And Steve, you on his rant, call me lose up. I get all that, dude. I'm 41. That stuff doesn't bother me. I deserve it. That's my bad for fucking up. I can't promise it won't happen again. When it comes to you, it won't happen again. I will promise you I make more mistakes. This will be this is one of 3 podcasts a day. I try to come up with a ton of content. I talk a lot of shit. I will make mistakes, brother. It does happen. But that's the rant and all that stuff. I get it. And he can attest this. All I've done is like, all good, man. I'll take it. I apologize, dog. Fucked up. It's not fair to you, you know? So that's it. That's it from my side. My bad, brother. My bad. I get how the internet can put these pieces together. I should know better. No one deals with more hate than me. I get it, dude. There's a lot of bullshit out there. It's not fair to him, Dana, the Nelk boys, none of that stuff. And don't get twisted. Just because I say when the Nelk boys get this access, which they have, right? They're business partners, stuff like that. I'm not saying they don't deserve it. I'm not saying they're not the best for the job. All I'm saying is, as a hardcore guy who fought in the UFC for a long time, who's been around the game, all I'm saying is I think it would do the sport so much service by allowing guys like Luke Thomas, Ira Hawani, Chuck Mendenhall, all these guys, Ben Folks, all these actual journalists access to the big dogs, because that door and that window has been closed for years, and I just think it's an incredible mistake. But I do think you can have both. That's all I'm saying. Mm-hmm. You don't want one too much of either. You don't want all Nelk in like that category that's fun and, you know, they have this huge fan base. And then you don't want just all journalism criticizing. That's boring as fuck too. You need a blend. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Is that ever going to happen? Probably not. So it's not even, I'm wasting my fucking energy right now. That's all I'm saying. But to wrap all this up, Steve, my bad, brother. Love you. I get all the hate. I get call me a loser, all that shit. Your boy fucked up. I'm sorry. That's it. Let's move on. UFC 322. So I was in Dallas. Kiddo got done about 4 o'clock playing football. They had a whole event and dinner set up afterwards. So I watched the prelims on my phone like a complete psychopath. Well, I'm in this crowded, where we were, Texas Roadhouse. So I'm in this crowded restaurant watching the fights, trying to listen. And then I got to watch the main card on a regular TV, but still couldn't hear. And then I watched the co-main event and main event in my hotel room on the UFC app on my phone. So not ideal, but of course I wasn't going to miss this. I give credit to the UFC with this card because it was bombs over Baghdad. It was pure fucking chaos for that main card to start. Like those first 3 fights, you're like, good God, these boys are bringing it tonight. BSD, Dariush, you know, there's a fork in the road for both of them. Neither one of them are, you know, exactly championship material at this age and long in the tooth and their losses. For Dariush, you know, it's been a great run. Love the dude. Come behind the ear. It sucks, 16 seconds, but still a knockout. So the fan base they're seeing blood. They're loving it. And then Carlos Prates, for the first time ever, knocks Leon Edwards out. You're like, Jesus Christ, dude. Again, fork in the road for Leon Edwards. That's 3 in a row. First time he's been knocked out. So now you're seeing these BSD, not a young line, but we'll get to that. But Carlos Prates, this young line who's surging, and he's taking the crown from Leon Edwards. He did that. Took his aura. Whoa, give me that shit. So Leon Edwards, out to pasture. Dariush, out to pasture. And Michael Morales, Sean Brady. Michael Morales has to be the biggest fucking freak at welterweight. My God, that dude is scary. And Sean Brady, credit to Sean Brady, because he didn't have to take this fight. He took the toughest fucking surging young line and was like, I'm not going to wait around. When I'm champ, I'm going to have to fight him anyways. Might as well get out of the way. And, you know, he fucked up. He learned the hard way. That was a very, very difficult fight for Sean Brady. Not much to gain either, because if you think about it, if Sean Brady beats Michael Morales, they're like, yeah, okay, Michael, too much too soon. He was never that good. And then Sean Brady's kind of exactly where he's at. So it was a no-win for Sean, right? He thought he won a title shot, but it didn't work out. So he's like, all right, give me one more. Give me this fucking young lion. And it turns out that young lion's fucking good. And you learn the hard way. But with Sean Brady, he's young enough and he's long enough in his career where he's had losses before, right? With the Bilal Muhammad, and that was bad. And he bounces back and comes back better. So this won't be the last year of Sean Brady. I love Sean Brady. He's an absolute savage. Tough night. He learned the hard way that Michael Morales is probably one of the best welterweights in the world. He's not just hype, just not talk. That guy is a fucking problem. And, Sean risked it and lost. All good. He'll bounce back. It's not, Sean Brady's in a different category than Leon Edwards and Dariush. Those guys, that's going to be a tough road. So you have three, you're just like, oh my God, this card is insane. Oh my God. And I think the UFC did this on purpose. UFC was like, we're going to give you 3 bangers if you get your money's worth. But that co-main event and main event might be a little boring, y'all. So we're going to give you 3 bangers, even though most people will dictate how good a card is based off the main event and co-main event. But we don't want you guys to be too upset. So we're going to give you 3 fucking spicy fights. Just to hold you over for the co-main event and main event. Let's take a little break, kids. We're only a few weeks in. The NBA season is already super wild. Stars are going off. Rookies are making noise. The action doesn't stop. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is where you can get in on all of it. Don't forget, the Emirates NBA Cup is rolling along. Big moments, big matchups, and a whole lot on the line. Don't miss out. Jump in and bet on action today. New customers bet just $5 buckaroos and get $200 if your bet wins, paid in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code Schaub Show. That's code Schaub Show. Bet $5 and get 200 bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
So when it comes to Shevchenko and Zhang Weili, I owe Brian $1,000. In hindsight, Zhang Weili is a beast, right? She's had grappling issues before. I should have thought about that. And she's, coming up in weight. Shevchenko went toe-to-toe with Amanda Nunes, and she's been grappling a ton lately, and winning. That, she hasn't been like this crazy finisher, this point in her career. And with Zhang, she's not that active. And of course, people online are like, oh, you always get picks wrong and wrong again. If you've learned anything, I always usually pick the underdog. It's not fun for me to come on here and just tell you how good this giant favorite is. I've always root for the underdog. I always root for the person that I can give you an argument how they're going to win, but the chance of them winning is probably not good. That's more fun for me. Could I come on here and tell you that Shevchenko is just going to basically lay on top of Zhang Weili for 5 rounds? Yeah. That's my 2-minute show. Could I come on here and tell you Islam Makhachev grappling is so goddamn good that JDM doesn't have a chance? Yeah, I could. It's just not fun. That's not what I do. I love figuring out a way where if they do pull it out, and it is rare, if they do pull it out, this is how they're going to do it. And it's very fucking tough to do, but that's what I like those stories. So that's what my fucking show is. So yeah, do I get picks wrong? Absolutely. Could I get a lot more right by giving you the favorite, whether it's Islam, Shevchenko? Could I tell you how the favorite's going to win every time? Absolutely. And I will crush my picks easily bet on my favorite, tell you how they're going to win, and their easiest path to victory. That's not fucking fun for everybody, and that's cookie cutter. My thing is figuring out how a guy like JDM can dethrone a guy like Islam Makhachev. That's what I like. And there is a way he could do it. And it turns out that Islam Makhachev's pretty fucking good, and he didn't stand a chance. When it comes to Valentina Shevchenko, that was a boring fight. It was a boring fight. She didn't risk anything. I think the biggest risk she took is she threw a spinning back fist and they got pinned against the wall. Other than that, it was, played it safe. She was the bigger girl and just used her strength advantage to dominate Weili. And, you got 5 rounds of that shit. It is what it is. It is what it is. It's just, kudos to her. No risk involved. And I also get now, as a fighter, I completely understand it. If I'm Shevchenko, I'm like, all right, easiest path to victory. What can I do to dominate Weili and not lose my title and keep my current pay and increase my pay and set up a super fight? I'm just going to take this little girl down. I'm just going to lay on top of her. I'm just going to keep taking her down. I'm bigger. I'm stronger. I'm taller. I have advantages in that area. Her only chance to win is really on the feet. I'm going to eliminate that. I'm going to stay at distance with my kicks. When she does come in, when she rests down, I'm taking her ass down. If I get a finish, great. If not, I'm fine with that too because I'm getting paid. As a fighter, kudos. I fucking get it. I did the same against LeVar Johnson. People don't like it, but fuck them. Get your bag. I get that. As an outsider looking and paying $80 for a card, I'm like, what the fuck? That's it? No risk? Okay. All right. I understand it, but probably wouldn't buy her fight again. All right.
She's usually, Valentina is usually exciting, but yeah.
Not lately.
Because you said she wanted to win. Do you think it's because of lack of ground game for Zhang, or was it the size difference?
Size difference. Zhang's pretty good off getting off her back, and she did it early in the first round, but eventually that size can catch up with you. Yeah. It's similar to Islam Makhachev and JDM. So Hamzat took a bunch of shit, right? A bunch of shit for what he did to DDP. They're pretty similar. Now, the only thing you could say is JDM is, I guess, better on the ground. I don't think that's fair because, you could say, well, DDP's fundamentals and he was just laying there and, he wasn't really attempting to do anything. And so it made it a boring fight. Or Hamzat's just a lot better on the ground. And he was putting in crucifix and punching the shit out of him. And the finish just wasn't available to him. So both are to blame here. Both are to blame. With Shevchenko, Weili, the blame's more on Shevchenko for making it so fucking boring because she does have stand-up skills. I actually think her striking's better than Weili's. So she can win on the feet or the ground. She chose the ground because her chance of losing are significantly less. So she chose that. For Islam, we know he's at a deficit when it comes to the stand-up. If I told you Islam's not going to shoot, they have to stay on the feet. If those were the rules, JDM's going to win this fight. That's his easiest path to victory. It's actually his only path to victory. So Islam goes, okay, that's the only way he can win. And I think it should be said too is last week and also previous when this fight was announced, I go, damn, what a great dress rehearsal fighting Bilal Muhammad. This does so much for JDM to have kind of a dress rehearsal before he fights Islam. Who's better than Bilal Muhammad? Well, what I didn't consider is Islam goes, exactly. That's how he fights against a style similar to mine. And not only can we see exactly how he responds to it, but also the Craig Jones side of it, where Craig Jones implements and tells these guys what to do, how to beat these daggies. Islam had a whole blueprint on when I do this, Craig Jones has him doing this. When I do this, he's doing this. And Islam negated and took away all of that advantage. So actually, him getting the belt fighting Bilal, it would have been way better for JDM if he fought, if he took the belt from Leon Edwards, where it's a striker, and they didn't know how he was going to respond to wrestling. it really fucked him over by doing that dress rehearsal against Bilal Muhammad. Because Islam's team, Khabib's team, went, that's exactly how he fights you. This is what he does in this situation. This is how he defends a single leg. This is what he does against the cage. So it was a disaster for JDM because all his tools, all his tricks, they were ready for it, all of it, and completely shut it fucking down. They took the Craig Jones situation that's been successful, and they knew exactly how he was going to respond to all the positions and negated it. Just completely erased it. And you can see, like, for JDM, I think he was like, all right, a 55er coming up to 70, I'm going to have a bit of a strength advantage. I'm going to have this advantage. And he got in there, and you can tell. He was like, oh, fuck. I don't have any of this. Oh, fuck. My Craig Jones stuff, they know what I'm doing. Oh, fuck. I have no path to victory. And he realized that 2 minutes in, he got taken down right away, and you're like, oh, shit. The control time, and Islam's team, shout out to Islam's team, I mean, Khabib's team, they just knew exactly what Jack was going to do in order to try and get up to his feet, and he didn't stand a chance. So I think for JDM, kudos to him for not quitting and looking for a way out and getting submitted, but kudos to him for sticking through it and just kind of getting dominated when you thought you had this game plan that was going to give fits to Islam, and that was not the case. And I think he realized in that first round, I'm fucked. We basically gave him my playbook. We basically gave him the playbook, and I'm fucked. I don't have a chance. But the fight, very similar, Hamzat DDP. Very similar. But also people forget, the same thing happened with Hamzat. And I get the backlash where people are like, oh God, Hamzat, Islam, Merab, these guys aren't finishers. We get 25 minutes of this. I get all that. But Hamzat and Islam are generally finishers. And there has to be some blame put on JDM and DDP. Of like that's kind of why it's boring. It's on them to make it exciting, unfortunately. It's on them. We know what that Islam and Hamza are going to do and Merab's going to do. It's on their opponents to kind of make this exciting fight. Because if you can't stop it, which is your job, which is why you're there in the first place, if you can't stop it and you don't come up with some wrinkle to get back to your feet and engage in striking, it's kind of on you. You got to stop it, man. So there should be some criticism headed their way, you know? JDM just did not look like he had any answers. Here's the reality, folks. If you go through the welterweight division, I want to know who you guys think could actually defend the takedown from Islam. And before you answer that, can we just give Alex Volkanovski his flowers? How fucking good is Volkanovski? Granted, he didn't fight him at 70, and obviously this is a different animal. I'm just saying, how fucking impressive is Volkanovski, where some of us thought he won that first fight? That's how fucking good Volkanovski was in his prime, dude. He went toe to fucking toe, stopped the takedowns. Dude, that needs to be studied. Volkanovski is a motherfucker, dude. Because since then, who's given him any fucking problems whatsoever? So shout out to Volkanovski. That should be fucking documented and studied, and my God, is he fucking good. But if you go through 70 right now, and if you're the UFC, right, Islam made it look so easy at 70, and he's like, this is my home, I feel so good. You're like, oh, this is a problem for the rest of the division. And he's been wrestling goats and bears and Khabibs since he was 2, right? And carrying rocks up mountains and shit. And that's his pedigree and that's his base. And it's just in his DNA and it's muscle memory, and there's no way to stop him. If you go through 1 through, we'll say 10, If you go through 1 through 10, my question is this. Who the fuck is going to challenge him? We'll get to Ilya after this. I'm just talking about 70 right now. Who the fuck is going to challenge him? Now, a lot of you are looking at the top 10 and going, Shavkat Rakhmonov, he could do it. Maybe. He's inactive. He's had injuries. He's sure as fuck not going to come back after a year and jump right in a title shot. That doesn't make sense. And he did show some issues and some chinks in his armor against our boy Ian Machado Gary. So I would still have Islam minus 300 favorite over Shavkat. Leon Edwards out. Kamaru Usman. Now, some of y'all are saying Kamaru Usman deserves a title shot after his one win over Joaquin Buckley. You think Kamaru is going to stop his wrestling? Maybe prime Kamaru. Maybe you'd have an argument there. But a long in the tooth Kamaru, that's tough. Ian Machado Gary's an interesting one. He could stay on the outside. He did very well against Shavkat. Remember, he got Shavkat's back. Ian Machado, again, still a minus 300 probably in that fight, but probably like his chances better than most of those guys, especially 1 through 6. Michael Morales. A lot of people asking for him to get a title shot right now. I think he's one more impressive win away from that. I think he's one away from that. I think it's just too much of a jump right now. Because he beat Gilbert Burns, right? Older cat, older lion. And then you beat Leon Edwards. Great win. Never been knocked out. Is coming off a 2-fight losing streak, longer in the tooth. So you need one more against one of those younger lions, and then you get a title shot. His judo background is interesting. We haven't seen him really been tested. I don't want to find out if he's up to par this soon, though. I think there's one more. But he's an interesting one. He's so explosive, big, size advantage. Prata not yet, right? He lost to Ian Machado Gary, so he's still 2 away. And then after that, it's a disaster as far as beating Islam. But there's not a lot. Islam's about to go on a fucking run, dude. He would be favored in every single fight they give him, unless he did some crazy shit and jumped up to 85 and fought Hamzat. Oh. That's the only fight he wouldn't be favored in. I think Hamzat at 85 against Islam, Hamzat would be favored. Now, Hamzat at 70, I would favorite Islam. But if it's at 85, that's a different animal. Islam, looking at his competition, and there's a lot of opponents for him. There's a lot of adversaries. I would be willing to bet in the next 3 years he's probably your greatest of all time. Despite, he's not being winning by striking, just looking at the resume he's going to have and the quality wins he's going to have, it'd be up for debate between him and John, but that's going to be the narrative. There's not, and they're big names, and the division's deep, and he has a lot of contenders, and he's going to mop through them, especially with his style. He's so good at 70. So the argument of greatest of all time was between John and Islam. And he's out of the Khabib shadow, right? Khabib doesn't have a quality win like this. So good for Islam. Now, the UFC is going to UFC, and you have a White House card coming up, and you have the big Paramount deal coming up. So, Shavkat, Kamaru, Ian Machado Gary, Michael Morales, Carlos Prates, none of those are blockbuster. They are for the hardcores, right? We're like, fuck, take my money. But just think of like your dad. And that's how the UFC's thinking for Paramount and for the White House. If you have to bet on it, you're probably going to get a blockbuster fight with Ilia Topuria going up to 70 and fighting Islam. Who likes that fight for Ilya? Now, at 55, I favor Ilya. I like 55 matchup. Islam, Ilya, that's a fucking fight. Ilya jumped up to 170. I don't know how he deals with that wrestling. I just don't know. But if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Ilya. He has the wrestling pedigree. He has the explosiveness. He has the quickness. He could do it. I would imagine he's still a slight dog in that fight, though. But I'll be rooting for Ilya. And I would assume that's what the UFC does. You're going to get Ilya versus Paddy Pimblett in January, I bet, or like early first quarter next year. And then Islam will defend his title if Ilya were to win at 170. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, 170 is packed. It's interesting. Moving on, our boy Bo Nickel got it done. Flipped off the fan base. I get it, dude. I fucking get it. I was proud of him. Looked better. Definitely incorporated wrestling more. Dominated even against a world-class jiu-jitsu guy. He came out with purpose. Obviously won with striking, which I wasn't thrilled about, but he did get it done. His striking did look better, but it's still, his striking is still not his path to championship gold. And you got to hope, because he won by knockout. His takeaway is the reason this stuff worked is because I used my world-class wrestling to set it up and wear his ass out and then finish him off with striking. Hopefully this doesn't mean, man, let's just double down on striking moving forward. I also wouldn't say, all right, now he's ready for the top 10. Slow down. There's a ton of competition. Let's just slow it down, all right? Let's not jump him into the deep waters yet. He still has work to do, and that's evident. He looked amazing, probably his best fight yet, but let's build this slowly. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. But shout out to Bo. I'm so happy for him. One of my faves. He is well documented. One of my faves. Our girl lost.
Cortez?
Yeah, Tracy got choked out. That sucks. She won the first round too. I was expecting more out of RoboCop and Roman Kopilov.
And Wallmaker lost too. He was on such a cool rise.
Malcolm?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That sucks. Let's take a little break here. Picture this. It's midnight and you're laying in bed scrolling through this new website you found, hitting the add to cart button on that item you've been looking for. We've all done it. After about 15 minutes, you decide you've done enough damage to your wallet and you decide to check out. You remember that your wallet card is in the living room and you don't want to get out of bed. You're all cozy just to get it. And just as you're getting ready to abandon your cart, that's when you see it. That purple shop button. That shop button that has all of your payments and shipping information saved. It makes it so easy. Saving you time while you stay warm in your cozy bed. That's Shopify. And there's a reason so many businesses sell with it, because Shopify makes everything easier from checkout to creating your own storefront. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. from household names like Mattel, Gymshark, and brands like Drive Fast, All Gas. Shopify gives you that leg up from day one with hundreds of beautiful ready-to-go templates to express your brand style and forget about the code. Tackle all those important tasks in one place, from inventory to payments to analytics and so much more. And did I mention that iconic purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. Your customers already love it, so get to it. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head on over to shopify.com/shop. Cha-ching! Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/shop, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/shop, all lowercase. Cha-ching! All right, what else you got, Jen?
Alrighty. You mentioned the Paramount stuff, so let's go with that real quick. So that's what I saw. It's going to be 44 UFC cards, 16 to 18 boxing cards, 14 UFC BJJ cards, and 12 power slap cards.
Well, good for the UFC. 16-18 boxing cards. That's interesting. Good for a BJJ. That's cool.
Yeah.
What's crazy, I bet you that power slap does better ratings than all the others. Better than boxing, better than BJJ.
That's pretty sad.
It's more exciting. People can understand it.
It's just,
Yeah. It's super simple.
yeah.
You'll turn and be like, oh my God. And then you click away, just like we do on social media.
Yeah. It's super fast. You get your fix real quick. So the whole Jake Paul thing, remember, is moving it to December.
Is this confirmed?
It's not confirmed, but they're actually in talks, though. So Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul they're actually discussing. Eddie Hearn said they're actually discussing it. And this is Dana White's response to it.
The fight that's reportedly being worked on for December 19th in Miami.
Did I see the fight being worked on December 19th in Miami?
Yeah.
No.
Do you know which fight I'm talking about?
No.
Fair enough.
Oh, Jesus. That's a fucking bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what. A lot of people watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure.
Sure.
You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one.
Yeah.
I think everybody's going to get what they've finally been waiting for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Dana on this. First of all, kudos to Jake Paul. The cojones this motherfucker has, from a Disney kid to YouTube to he can fight anyone and get views and make fucking money. This crazy wild boy sends out the bat signal, the British bat signal for Anthony motherfucking Joshua. You know how crazy that is? I will say this. I don't think any of Jake Paul's fights are fixed in any capacity. At all. Not even close. I don't get down that narrative. Again, I know online that's a fun narrative, all that shit. I will say this, though. My spidey senses will go off if Anthony Joshua doesn't absolutely mop the floor with him. Now, kudos to Jake for taking this fight. My God, dude, you are a brave young man. You deserve every cent for that fight. My word, dude, there's so much respect. So much respect. He worked so hard at the craft. That's amazing. Kudos to you. Here's the reality. Anthony Joshua is a gold medalist in the Olympics. He's a multiple-time world champion. He's fought the best of the best. He's not really over the hill either. If Jake Paul was just another boxer with his resume and his experience, you know, he's about a mid-blue belt. If we're giving you belts like jiu-jitsu, he's probably a blue belt, fighting in main events and all this stuff. If this fight isn't an absolute domination by Anthony Joshua, my spidey senses will go off. Now, that's not to say that I'm not saying Jake Paul has any language in the contract. There's no foul play whatsoever on Jake Paul's part. My skeptical hippo eyes or my spidey senses will come off that Anthony Joshua's not taking this real and he's not putting his best performance forward. That's the issue. The issue is Anthony's like, how much you gonna pay me? It's on Netflix. Hold up. I can fight this guy who, you know, when I was an amateur teenager, I fought better guys. And I have how much weight on him? I can fight him for how much money? Dude, I'll beat him in my sleep. Correct. And you should. And it's such a disservice to the sport of boxing and to the actual fans of boxing if Anthony Joshua doesn't go out there and absolutely dominate Jake Paul. If it goes to decision, if it goes past 6 rounds, Houston, we have a problem. Boxing, we have a problem. And now, people are going, where was this energy with Gervonta Davis? Different. You're talking about a very, very small guy. I've worked with Gervonta. He's fucking tiny, and size can overshadow a lot of that stuff. I still think Gervonta should still win that fight, and the body shots, if he's taking it seriously, that should have got the job done. But obviously, he has his legal issues, and that went out the window. But when you're talking about an actual world-class heavyweight who went toe-to-toe with Klitschko, with fucking all these bad boys, if Anthony Joshua takes this serious, as he should, this shouldn't even be a competition, and it's brilliant. Because for Jake, okay, cool, man. Got knocked out by one of the best to ever do it, or got finished by one of the best to do it. At least I got in there. And I'm not even a heavyweight. I'm a cruiserweight at best. Either I'm too light in the ass for that. I should be fighting down. He's shooting for the moon. He's going to land on the stars. And just to be absolutely clear, Jake always wins in these situations. It's his promotion, his deal with Netflix. This will get the most eyeballs ever. This will probably beat the Mike Tyson fight, because you're going, hold on, Jake Paul's finally going to lose? Because none of us actually thought Tyson was going to beat him. That's never fucking happening. All of his fights, Nate Diaz, all these fights, you assume Jake's going to win. He's fighting older guys. He's a young cat. You know, he's enthusiastic. Jake should pull this off. Every fight he's ever had, Jake should pull this off. This is the one fight where the buck stops. This is the one opponent where if this is a sanctioned actual boxing match, this shouldn't even be a competition. Kudos to Jake Paul. Name one person who's not going to watch it.
No, people are going to watch it without a doubt. And you see here too, it does categorically know if it's going to be an exhibition fight. So it'll be a real fight.
Promoter Eddie Hearn emphasized even before this fight was confirmed that Paul would have to fight Joshua under normal rules. Holy shit. Yeah. Joshua and Paul are fighting in a heavyweight bout for 8 rounds of 3 minutes. 10-ounce gloves, the standard for heavyweight fights. Now remember, yeah, Paul and Mike Tyson was 14-ounce gloves. 10-ounce gloves ain't shit. This is insane. My level of respect for Jake Paul is through the roof. Mm-hmm. You're fighting fucking Anthony Joshua with 10-ounce gloves in an actual sanctioned fucking fight? Are you out of your mind? And he goes, yeah. He deserves every fucking penny. Jake Paul wins no matter how this goes. That's insane.
It is.
I'm still on the fence if we see it or not.
Yeah, that's why it's not 100% yet.
That's insane. Bro, remember when Jake Paul started boxing?
Yep.
He fought like Nick Anderson. What if when he fought Nick Anderson, I go, dude, I know how this goes. I bet he fights Anthony Joshua. You guys would have laughed at me. It's wild what him and his brother shoot for. Fucking inspiring and fucking wild. Madmen. All the other fights, I get he can probably win. He's a younger guy. He's training hard. This is one where I go, oh, you're legit crazy.
And he wanted Ngannou too, remember? But Ngannou said...
Ngannou's a better fight for him.
Which is just even calling Ngannou out was already like, what the hell?
Even that's like, oh, damn, that's crazy. But it's crazy. But he's not technically a boxer. But he hits like a fucking Mack truck. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Did anybody see what Anthony Joshua did to Francis? So if that same Anthony Joshua takes the same approach to Jake Paul, it's going to be much, much worse.
And he would have to, right? I mean, do you think there's a tiny chance that he wouldn't take him that seriously?
I think it's human nature. I think with Anthony Joshua's pedigree, Olympic gold medalist, multi-time world champion, some of the biggest fights in boxing history, and then you get this kid who, from Anthony Joshua's perspective, with his success in boxing, his pedigree, it's okay for Anthony Joshua to say that's not a real boxer. So just by human nature, you're probably not going to do the same amount as road work as you did when you fought Klitschko. You're probably not going to have the same diet as you did when you fought, Andy Ruiz. And also, like with Francis, you could see he took it serious. All right, this is a big, strong dude. Went 12 rounds with Tyson Fury. I'm going to put this to an end. I'm going to take this serious. Because he is a big dude, and if he does land, you're going to have problems. And Joshua's had issues with his chin before. So he took that dead serious, and you see what happens. With this one, I can see him taking the foot off the gas a little bit.
Kind of see that, but then if he lost to Jake, that would probably just be so devastating. Like he has to take it really seriously, I would imagine. But I do understand the human nature part of it. Like no matter what, I'm going to win this fight.
I don't know what the biggest underdog in combat sports is, but it should be this. Anthony Joshua should be a minus 50,000 if this is a real fight.
I wonder if there's any opening odds. 1,000 favorite right now. And Jake Paul's a plus 550.
Even that.
That's too little.
That's insane. Let's take a little break here. Talk to you about my friends over at Breeze. If you're looking for the perfect buzz without the hangover, that's where Breeze comes into play. That's B-R-E-Z, an incredible functional beverage company revolutionizing how we drink. Their line of feel-good tonics are the perfect alcohol alternatives with an effect you actually feel. They use a small amount of THC and CBD and functional mushrooms to create fun effects without the traditional downsides of alcohol. Don't wake up all hungover. And no, these aren't like your typical edible. You'll feel each blend within 10 minutes, and the effect will last about an hour and a half, similar to one cocktail. Smell enough for your moms, but stackable if you're trying to ramp it up. They'll ship all across the United States, so head over to feelthebreeze.com/Schaub. Use the code Schaub for a $5 credit and free shipping on your first order.
Consult with a physician before use if you're pregnant, nursing, or have any known suspected allergies or medical conditions, or are taking any medication. FDA has not evaluated these products for safety or efficacy. Products are intended for 21 and over.
So take a little break here. This episode of the Schaub Show is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game, shifting a little money here, a little money there, hoping it all works out? Well, the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help you find options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law, not available in all states. Progressive.
All right, so at the UFC 322 event, Dylan Danis was there. And it started off great. This is him like bumping into George St. Pierre. Just very cordial. Everything's nice. And then suddenly he got into a brawl. And there's like multiple different angles. But
do we know who started the brawl?
So Dana White and people are saying that Dylan Danis is walking around and just sitting in other fighters' seats, right? So he's kind of like just wandering around and just doing the thing. So he just accidentally walked into Khabib's entourage. Or maybe on purpose he did it. I don't know.
I doubt on purpose. He's probably like, fuck it, I'll sit here. And then he's like, oh shit, I fucked up. So
yeah,
he crips in with the Bloods.
He's around this area right here.
You walked right into that Muslim hornet's nest. Pause it.
What's up?
We're only mad at Dylan Danis?
No, dude.
What about those guys that jumped him? What are they banned?
Yeah, they got kicked out. I don't know
Not
if they're
banned though, are they?
Yeah.
Not banned. But Dylan's banned? Okay.
Yeah, I don't get that part.
The several guys that jumped the one guy's banned? Okay. There's no repercussions for that team? They seem to have a lot of issues. They seem to cause a lot of problems.
They tend to get into fights, yeah.
Why aren't they banned?
But if Danis is the one...
I could tell you why, but I'm not going to because I don't need more fucking drama. I could definitely get into it, but I'm not going to, Chin, because I don't need more fucking drama in my life.
It's been enough for this one.
Definitely tell you what's going on.
Yeah. Anyway, this is Danny White discussing it.
Can you just tell us how disappointed you were to see that and any insight into the fallout?
I blame myself for that, actually. they came back and told me right before I walked out for the main card that Dylan Dennis was here and he was moving around sitting in fighter seats and not sitting in his own seat that he had. He had a ticket. And they said, do you want us to throw him out of here? And I said, he has a ticket? And I said, yeah. And, you know, they told me, they said, Masvidal said he's going to fuck him up on sight. And I said, well, where's Masvidal sitting? He said, well, he's 6 or 7 rows away from Masvidal. I said, well, if the guy has a ticket, let him sit in his seat and let him do what he's doing and keep an eye on him. It never even crossed my mind, as stupid as this could be, that the entire Muslim Brotherhood was here tonight in the first 5 rows for Islam. And as soon as it broke out, I was over on the other side and I go, fuck, I know exactly what that is. I knew it. And yeah, you will never see Dylan Dennis at a UFC fight ever again.
It's almost not safe for him because he talks. Dylan's a good dude, but he talks so much shit to stay in the news that he has so many enemies. So to Dana's point, like, I just can't have him there. Like, because if he sits close to Masvidal, they're gonna fight him. If he sits close to this guy, they're gonna fight him. This guy. So he's like, it's a fucking liability. So I get that. And for Dylan, you know, he's doing his marketing and he talks all this shit. But then you get to come cage side, dude. And these guys, they're fighters. Yeah. So yeah,
dude, he's constantly getting jumped. Even in your show, it was Jake Paul threw shit on it. Yeah. He constantly gets jumped everywhere
because he's a troll. You know, he just talks so much shit.
I feel bad for him actually, but I mean, he does talk.
He's a good dude.
Yeah,
he's a good dude, and this is the path he chose, and this is one of the consequences. Like, well, now you can't come to fights because you've talked shit to so many people that it's on site every time. Like, I get Dana, I get it
because you don't want to.
Dana's like, I can't ban this group. I can't ban this group. I got to ban the one common denominator. Like, even if Dana likes him, he's like, I just can't have fights all the fucking time. You have so many enemies. The easiest way to do is just take you out of it.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I get it.
Lawsuits and stuff that could potentially happen. Yeah, makes sense, but it still sucks.
It's like, I didn't realize the entire Muslim Brotherhood was 5 rows deep.
And this is the brotherhood that got kicked out. They're watching Islam from their hotel room.
They're all laughing. Who knows why? It just shows him. That's great. I'll tell you this. I admire and I'm jealous of the brotherhood. Like how close, how close knit their team is. It must be so awesome. It must. I yearn for. I love that, dude. Like that, your squad, your boys.
Yeah.
And they're just so tight knit. And they're so fucking tough, all of them. And they train together, and they win together, and they fucking sleep in the same room together, you know. And if you talk shit to one, you got to deal with all of them. I love every aspect of that.
They legitimately seem like people that would die for their brothers, or their quote unquote brothers.
And we don't have a lot of that going on in America, and we could take a page out of their book.
Yeah, it's like gangsters.
Mm-hmm. They ride for their people. Yeah. It's not racist. It's not this. Man, this is our crew. You fuck with one of us. You fuck with all of us. We rise together. We fall together, but we're all together. There's not a lot of that here from what I've seen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Firsthand up in here. This is some funny, not funny stuff, but interesting stuff that happened at UFC 322. This is Carlos Prates getting hit in the head.
This is why he's a superstar.
And he's just like, whatever.
He's like, really? You're going to grapple, Leon? We're grappling now?
Yeah, and then, dude, this scene was crazy. Did you see Leon smiling? I don't know why it keeps popping up. So this is a punch that Prates landed to knock him. Turn the music off, but look at Leon's face right here. And then...
Come on, ref.
And then finally he's not smiling.
No, he's not smiling anymore.
That's pretty wild.
When you get knocked out, your body does
crazy stuff. Yeah,
it does crazy stuff, but also do stuff that the nerves are firing. Leon, if you've in a lot of fights, when guys try to stand up with him, strike with him, he smiles like, bro. Sure. Yeah, he'll be like, bro. So I think
It's just a natural thing that happens, even though he's out.
it was a default, you know. Someone said, "Bro saw God." It's like, yeah. I hate to see vets go out like this, man.
Yep. But someone has to dethrone these vets. All right, so this is Hamzat called out Alex Pereira when he won last, I believe, and then Alex Pereira is now calling out Hamzat, but to do grappling and to give money to charity. Yeah. And then Hamzat responded. Let's see. Right here. Let's go. I can submit you. He's talking about Glover Teixeira and Pereira. Because let's go. I can submit you both the same night. Easy money.
That's probably true. I've been around a lot of guys. I've grappled with Glover. I've trained with Glover. He's a fucking monster. I don't know. Now he's older. But he was so as good as he was. That obviously he was known for his boxing and durability. His wrestling and grappling was fucking bananas. That was his specialty. But he just he grew up. He came up with Chuck Liddell camp and all that shit. So he wanted to throw them fists, but. Yeah, if you had to give me money, I'd bet on Hamzat. I've seen what he does to world-class guys firsthand. It's wild.
Yeah.
Not saying Alex isn't, good grappler, but you're not Hamzat.
Okay.
Glover would be a tough test for Hamzat. But again, Hamzat's younger. I've seen what he does to world champs. I'm telling you, it's fucking scary, dude. Also, who would pay to? I mean, I guess I'd watch it as like a one-off, him and Alex grappling, but definitely I'd rather see these guys fight.
Fight, of course.
Yeah.
What do you think of this statement that Dana White said about Mark Zuckerberg? Is this?
So Dana said, everybody thinks he's some computer nerd. Mark Zuckerberg will beat the living shit out of you. All these guys that talk stuff about him on the internet, he'll kick their ass. Oh, man. How do I want to approach this? I mean, I've talked shit about him.
Okay, minus you, though, because of obviously.
Yeah, my 9-year-old beat the fuck out of Zuckerberg. But my issues with Zuckerberg is, he just goes where the wind blows. So whatever's beneficial for him, right? He was suppressing information on Facebook, and he was taking money and listening to the White House and Biden and doing all this shit. And then now that they're out of power, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And then everyone gives him an out going, can you imagine running a big company like that? I bet it is challenging. I'm like, okay. And then now that, the white male, alpha male, the in shape male, the guy who's aggressive into jiu-jitsu, now that the soft woke agenda is kind of going out the window. Now he's like, I take TRT and do jiu-jitsu. I'm just like you guys, right? And a lot of people went, yeah. I'm like, well, hold on. This is the same guy that was in cahoots with Biden and Kamala Harris and pushing this agenda on Facebook and Instagram and shadowing people and all that bullshit. That's that same guy. Well, I forgive, but I don't forget, and Dana might be right as far as all the guys talk stuff about Zuckerberg. He's at least doing some training, and they have no training. And yes, they're probably not high testosterone in shape guys. Most of the guys that talk shit aren't. So Dana's right in that capacity. But there's guys like me that criticize Zuckerberg. Yeah. And there's other guys in the space who can fight that criticize Zuckerberg. So the caveat should be when he says all these guys, that's not true. That is not true. He should put most of the guys that talk stuff about him. And I don't think Zuckerberg's a bad guy. I think he doesn't have a backbone, and I think that he does whichever way the wind blows. If the Democrats win the next election, he's back to his old ways, and he'll stop doing jiu-jitsu and TRT and, probably put some eyeshadow on, shit like that, and ditch all the jiu-jitsu and stop corresponding with Dana and the rest of the fighters, But right now, his PR team came up with this idea, this false narrative that he's some tough guy and he's all this. And anyone who says, oh, he's actually good at jiu-jitsu, fuck off. Define good at jiu-jitsu. Because he hires elite UFC fighters to train him. I get it's a journey. He's been doing it for 2 years. He ain't shit. Kudos for him for trying to get in shape and learn the art, but don't tell me he's good at jiu-jitsu. Don't tell me he will challenge black belts and do this and he's tough. He's not tough. The whole narrative of tough has taken over and it's lost its meaning. That ain't a tough guy. Far from it. Don't let him fool you. He's fooling all of you. Not all of you. There's a lot of people that see it, the smart ones. He's doing whatever his PR team tells him. Hey, man, you kind of looked at like a cuck when you're on that fucking whatever he's wave runner and you had the sunscreen on your nose and you know it's like he's like, man, what should we do? Like, well, we know Dana. We know someone can get you TRT. We can give you a gold chain. You can start wearing white shirts and baggy jeans. And you know you start lifting a little and we'll give you peptides and TRT and then you won't look like such a cuck. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Well, Dana knows UFC fighters, and if you just pay them $10,000 an hour, they'll come over to your house, take pictures with you. Yeah, that'll change the narrative. Everyone goes, yeah. And the UFC fighter goes, yeah, he's really nice. Yeah, he's gonna be really nice. You know? Yeah, I get it. But also people change too. There's that. But again, I don't forget. He fucked over a lot of people, man.
This comment was pretty funny.
If you have money, the narrative, the narrative of stuff, you can control a lot of that.
And he has all the money in the world. He goes, he can beat me up. I just want him to stop selling my personal data.
Well, he can't beat me up and stop selling my fucking personal data and blame it on others. We had no idea what was going on. Really? Because you took all the credit for all this other shit. But when it comes to this, you don't know? And then people go, dude, you got to understand. It's such a big conglomerate. It's a big company. How would he know? Excuse me? Get the fuck out of here.
Jeez.
Again, I don't dislike the guy. But don't tell me he's a tough guy. God damn it. What's your definition of tough? That ain't one. Because he rolls with fucking UFC fighters doesn't make you tough. My first question would be, Dana, what's your definition of tough? And Dana knows tough people. Deep down, Dana knows that's not a tough guy. Smart guy, I'll give you that. Creative guy, sure. Rich guy, absolutely. Tough guy? Well, then the goal marker has moved of what tough is in 2025, if that's a tough guy. I'll show you tough guys. That ain't one. Again, even saying all this, I don't hate the guy. I don't dislike him. None of that stuff.
Alrighty. I think this should be it for current events. This last one here, this is just funny. This is Dustin Poirier picking the fights. Hold on a sec.
I'm gonna tell you right here. Here's the fucking trifecta. You ready? Here's the dog trifecta. Don't beat me up when you see me if you lose your bet. Benil Dariush, underdog. Leon Edwards, underdog. Sean Brady, underdog. Yeah. Don't crucify me. Bro, I'm gonna tell you.
That's how it is giving pigs, you know? And then this other thing you gotta understand. Of guys in the space, like real journalists like Luke Thomas, Ariel, like all the Chuck Menhall, they're not going to be biased like me or Dustin Poirier, who I've come across a lot of these guys, or I understand how it is to be a dog. So he's going based off, he probably has relationships with those guys.
Yeah.
When a fighter gives you picks, don't listen to them. They're going to be biased in some capacity, or they can understand how that fighter, if he's this big underdog, how they're rooting for him, and they're going to pick him. There's actual guys that don't have any skin in the game. Those are the guys you want to listen to that give picks. That one's so funny. You think you're ready for the trifecta? I love Dustin.
And with his new teeth too, it made it more like fun. I don't know why.
Here's the trifecta, dog. Don't kill me if they're wrong. Whoa, this guy put impressive. They got all of them wrong.
That is impressive. And they all like knockouts too.
Yeah, bad knockouts.
This is the fights that come this weekend.
Ruben Sarukian is supposed to fight for title. You missed weight, got disciplined, been out for a while, and now he's back. I think he's by far outside Islam at 70, but at 55, by far Ilia Topier's toughest test. Dan Hooker has his work cut out for him. Dan Hooker always surprised me. Holy fuck. Bilal, Ian Machado Gary's on this card.
Yeah. So you were looking for fights last week, but he's fighting this weekend.
Holy shit. That is a motherfucking fight. I'll tell you right now, you can completely forget about Ilia Topuria fighting Islam Makhachev if two things happen. If Ian Machado Gary gets a finish in any capacity, and this sucks for Bilal that's 3 rounds, but if Ian Machado gets a finish in any capacity, he's your next title contender. Guarantee it. Jumps to the front of the line, especially with his resume. And also, 2 things have to happen. If Arman Sarukian wins in impressive fashion, he's next in line for Ilia Topuria. So they're both going to be occupied, and they're not going to be able to fight anytime soon. But both those things. Now, if Machado loses, if Sarukian loses, if Sarukian boring 5-round decision, Ian Machado boring 5-round decision, all that goes out the window. If both those boys perform on Saturday, it has a lot of indications what happens at 55 and 70. My God, this is a big card. Ozdemir, Alonzo Mendenfield, yes, sir. Yeah, good fucking card.
And it's at 12 p.m. Central.
God damn it.
Why?
My son has a fucking baseball game.
Take your phone.
Yeah, you can't be on your phone during the game. You look like an asshole. I'll figure it out. I'll see it either way. All right, kids, that's a great fight night. I told you they're edging us. UFC's cooking. UFC 322 and now this fight card. These are spicy. That's it, kids. If you enjoyed the show, go on over to the Patreon. We got a bunch of extra content coming up. Special stuff for Black Friday on the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/TFATK. All shows are ad-free, including 2 Fire and the Kids every week. You also get extended episodes, 2 per month. You also get this show ad-free. Fan questions at least once a month. You get extra behind-the-scene content. Me and Chin going to barbecue. Me working on my trucks, giving you an overview of my trucks and cars. All this is just $5 a month. So if you're sick of the ads, this is the way to do it. It's patreon.com/TFATK. We have something very special coming up for Black Friday. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Steve will do it. Love you, bud. That's it. I'm out. Be nice to each other. See you next time.